Garden, where the tiger that attacked Roy is being kept in quarantine.
The chilling eyewitness accounts of what went wrong.
He looked like a rag doll in his mouth. I mean, that thing just had him by kind of like the shoulder and the face.
You could hear Roy scream.
The footage of what happened the night before the tragedy.
At 59, I'm celebrating.
Animal attacks, the circus elephant's rampage, a bear out of control, and what caused this alligator to snap.
There was a mouse on my head.
Kobe in court, the he said, she said.
I think it's going to be harmful to him. His life is not going to be the same.
Will Vanessa stay by his side?
And the star who paid a woman $250,000 to keep quiet.
Jackie Kennedy's darkest days.
The cry of a lonely, very depressed woman after seeing such a tragic events in her life.
Her confessions to a priest, the diary he kept.
We see a window into her soul.
And Entertainment Tonight uncovers Hollywood's headlines and scandals. It was the attack that shocked the world. Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Steiner.
And I'm Jan Carl.
For more than 40 years, Siegfried and Roy have been entertaining audiences with wild animals as their co-stars. 40 years of thrills and never any serious trouble until last week.
Siegfried and Roy will go on. The show not. But, one door closes, the other one opens up.
An emotional Siegfried spoke to E.T. after his live interview with Larry King on CNN. For the first time, he revealed what happened the night of the accident and the severity of his partner's medical condition.
He had a stroke, a minor stroke.
Did you go to the hospital?
I know, of course, right afterwards. And I was he was in the right hands. We had also stagehand who was in the military. They stopped the blood flow. He lost a lot of blood because the main artery.
Roy is getting color back in his face, and although he is not speaking, he is communicating via hand signals. Siegfried says Roy actually slipped on stage, causing the tiger Manticore to react. When Siegfried and another handler raced across the stage to help, it actually scared the animal.
The tiger took Roy in the neck and he pulled him back on stage.
And you think he was trying to help him?
That's exactly what I think.
That Roy fall and the tiger
fall, and he won't protect.
Yeah.
So he took Roy and put him backstage behind the curtain to protect him. When he grabs you, it's the strength.
Is there a lot of
grabs like another tiger? He thinks it's another tiger. Another tiger has skin like this and the fur. It's nothing.
When Roy first arrived at the hospital, he was barely clinging to life. Siegfried credits the skilled doctors at Las Vegas' University Medical Center with saving his life. Siegfried broke down when he talked about the duo's future with CBS's Harry Smith on The Early Show.
Everything gonna be all right.
The rumor that's going around is that you're going to bring the show back.
At the moment I try to bring Roy back. I'm sure it will be a different path, but I know we're going to finish this up together.
The night of the attack, there were 1,500 audience members for the sold-out show, and eyewitness accounts are chilling.
He looked like a rag doll in his mouth. I mean, that thing just had him by kind of like the shoulder and the face and just dragged him off the stage.
They dragged him back behind, and we just heard all this commotion behind the curtain, and you could hear Roy scream.
Lynn Cicchini sat close to the stage that night and says that Roy's partner was the first to act.
The only person that reacted quickly was Siegfried. Siegfried ran out between the curtains and jumped on the tiger. And right when that happened, the audience kind of started dawning on them that this wasn't just part of the show.
The audience fell silent as Siegfried stepped in front of the curtain to address the crowd.
He was crying and visibly upset, really upset. And he was saying that there's been a terrible accident and he was sorry, but they would have to cancel the show and that everything would be all right. But he didn't sound like everything was going to be all right.
Stage crew members attended to Roy until paramedics arrived and transported Roy to the hospital where he was rushed into surgery.
Mr. Horn's injury was extremely severe, and it is all but miraculous that he's alive at this time.
Magician Lance Burton is also a Las Vegas headliner. He told me he went to the hospital as soon as he heard the news.
We went over to the hospital, and we sat with Siegfried for 3 hours.
What was his state like at that point?
I know they loved each other like brothers, and was devastating to all of us, but particularly to Siegfried.
Many point to Roy's superb physical condition in helping him survive the attack.
The signs are encouraging. Roy can communicate. He can squeeze your hand in response to questions. He can move his feet. So he's conscious and can communicate. He can hear you, which is all very encouraging signs.
Fellow magician Penn Jillette of Penn & Teller was one of the hundreds who held a candlelight vigil for Roy outside the hospital.
It's a tribute to Roy how surprised everybody was. I mean, what he's doing is very, very dangerous, and he makes it look fun and easy. And it's not fun and easy, it's life and death. A very, very strong, very good man is suffering.
Roy's accident brought forth an outpouring of love from around the world. Close friend Michael Jackson told E.T., quote, "Roy Horn is a special person who brings joy to the world and has always brought good feelings to my life. I am praying for his speedy recovery, and my heartfelt feelings go out to his family." Other celebrities also sent messages to Roy, including Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver, Elizabeth Taylor, Mick Jagger, Priscilla Presley, former President Clinton, and Muhammad Ali. Siegfried and Roy had been performing together 44 years, and there had never been an attack by one of their beloved animals. Right after the accident, Roy asked that the cat's life be spared. Montecore had been raised by the duo since he was a cub. While the show has been canceled indefinitely, fans can still come here to Siegfried Roy's secret garden and view the cats that appeared on stage up close. This sanctuary at the Mirage Hotel has remained open, and fans have flocked here to see the creatures Roy loves so much. Not visible to the public is a private area where Montecore is believed to be quarantined. Longtime manager Bernie Human told me that the white tiger will not be destroyed.
This was not Montecore's fault. Montecore is safe with us, and he will continue to thrive and live with us.
Ironically, the attack occurred on Roy's 59th birthday. The night before, there was a massive birthday celebration for the entertainer. He met with fans, danced, and blew out candles on a cake decorated with white tigers.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the evening with me. Celebration is the greatest thing any man can do at this age. At 59, I'm celebrating and celebrating and celebrating.
And before leaving Larry King's Los Angeles studio to return to Las Vegas, Siegfried gave this response when we told him ET viewers were praying for Roy's recovery.
God bless you all, and thank you for your concern. And it makes us always strong. And I know we're going to go this together, and it's going to be thumbs up.
Coming up later, Siegfried and Roy's lost interview.
The fantasy became our life, and the life became our fantasy.
What Roy told us about his troubled childhood and the rare footage only E.T. can show you.
Tonight, we're going to show you something very special.
You're going to see Siegfried and Roy. You never have seen him before.
Then other animals attacked. The bear that went berserk, the alligator act that didn't go as planned. Plus, what's next for Friends?
Nobody really knows what to expect.
Kobe's courtroom nightmare.
And the celebrity who admitted to sleeping with hundreds of women.
As Entertainment Tonight uncovers Hollywood's headlines and scandals. Welcome back to Entertainment Tonight as we uncover Hollywood's headlines and scandals.
They have become America's Thursday night addiction. Well, now we must all get ready for Friends withdrawal. The cast works on their final episodes. We find out what's next for Jennifer, Matt, Lisa, and the rest of the gang.
It hits in moments, and then it's when you get all teary and weepy. It comes in waves.
The world of denial is solid.
We're not really sure what it's going to feel like when it ends. Nobody really knows what to expect, like we didn't know what to expect when it started.
Hi, welcome to the set of Friends. This is the cast right here behind me. This is Jennifer Aniston and Lisa Kudrow.
The series has never been out of the top 10 in ratings, and 30-second commercials in the finale will reportedly cost about $2 million.
I would say that this last season of Friends is the most important and most watched television of all time.
Entertainment and fashion journalist Merle Ginsburg says these 6 stars with their $1 million per episode paychecks changed the entertainment industry's perception of just how important TV stars can be.
When Their amount of salary went up and then off the charts. More money than anybody in television has ever made. And people started to realize, my God, these people have more power than major movie stars.
As they face the final fade-out, these real-life friends who say they've never had one fight are experiencing a mix of emotions. Courtney told Mary Hart that the feelings will only get stronger.
I'm emotional about it, but I know it's going to hit me harder after Christmas, like when I really realize it's over. I kind of live in denial a little bit, so I haven't gotten there yet.
Matthew Perry told Jan he's holding things together.
Has anybody gotten teary-eyed yet?
Not quite yet. We're all trying to avoid it at all costs and get to the last couple of weeks, though, and there won't be a dry eye.
Tell me, what's going to happen on that final taping day?
There'll be a lot of crying, you know. There'll be a lot of tears and a lot of mixed feelings about whether we should have stopped or whether we should have kept going. But I think ultimately we made the right call.
When Lisa Kudrow sat down with Stephen Kojikaru, she showed why she's a comedian.
Well, who do you think will fall apart the most, and who will be the most collected at that last taping?
Jennifer.
Will fall apart the most? Like full-on waterworks?
Or maybe me, because I'm holding it in so much now.
Right.
It's possible.
And who do you think would be the most collected?
Well, then I'd say me.
Right.
And then
okay.
6 months later, maybe that's when I'll have to be hospitalized.
I don't want a fresh start with you, John. Wake up!
Of course, Lisa has already begun looking to the future, portraying the wife of porn star John Holmes in the dark drama Wonderland. And after rave reviews for The Good Girl and the box office success of Bruce Almighty, Jennifer finally has the film career she's worked for. And Matt LeBlanc's following the TV tradition of a spin-off with a sitcom based on Joey. He told Mary the plan excites him and his wife, Melissa.
How does it feel to know that you're going on with another sitcom? Does that give you a sense of relief, or do you feel like you need a breather?
No, the schedule is really nice. It's very conducive to a family, which we have, and I like it.
David told Bob Goen there might even be a mini Friends reunion.
Great. Are you going to be a guest on there?
Maybe. We haven't really spoken about it. I'm probably going to direct a few of his shows, but if he asks me if he wants Ross to make an appearance, I'll probably bring the character on the show. I don't know. We haven't really spoken about it.
Coming up next, Jackie's depression.
Her confessions to a priest and talk of suicide.
He was very concerned. He was scared, is what he says in his diary, that Jackie might actually be serious.
Then, who's pregnant and who wants to be? The case against Kobe, and will Vanessa stay with him?
And why some women refuse to leave their cheating husbands.
And later, the bear that wouldn't let go.
As Entertainment Tonight uncovers Hollywood's headlines and scandals.
Monday on Entertainment Tonight.
Girls, here he comes. Girls, here he comes.
Why these gorgeous women are going undercover to catch husbands and boyfriends suspected of cheating.
What is he thinking? Gotcha.
Then Barbra Streisand sings, and what she tells Oprah about her kitchen phobia.
But I cannot make a cup of coffee. I cannot boil water. I don't know how to make an egg.
That's Monday.
Welcome back to Entertainment Tonight as we uncover Hollywood's headlines and scandals. A new book claims that Jackie Kennedy had thoughts of suicide after the assassination of her husband, JFK.
She confessed her innermost feelings to a priest who kept a diary of their private conversations.
I think what these thoughts of suicide were about were fundamentally, it was the cry of a lonely, very depressed woman after seeing such a tragic events in her life. And I think it's something that we've wondered about for 40 years. And now I think with this, we see a window into her soul.
Concerned over Jackie's frame of mind following JFK's assassination, brother-in-law Bobby Kennedy set Jackie up with Father Richard McSorley. Primarily, the two played tennis, but the priest quickly became both a counselor and friend. Now, 40 years later, their conversations are being brought to light in The Kennedys, America's Emerald Kings.
He kept a very careful diary notes. Well, there was a point in May of 1964 in which Father McSorley says in his diary that he was very concerned. He was scared, is what he says in his diary, that Jackie might actually be serious about the concerns of going through with some type of suicide. So he prepared his best arguments against it.
Her strong commitment and love for her children helped to eventually ease Jackie's pain. But she admitted to the priest that she felt a unique connection with Marilyn Monroe after the actress's apparent suicide in 1962.
She was glad that Marilyn Monroe found some way of getting out of her agony. I think it was one person who, Jackie, at that point, feeling such pain and talking about suicide, and saw that Monroe apparently did the same.
Also in the book, author Thomas Mayer says JFK's ties to the Catholic Church might have kept him from the White House.
Jack Kennedy, in many ways, was kind of the Jackie Robinson of presidential politics. He broke through that barrier by promising a separation of church and state. Behind the scenes, had the relationship of the Kennedys with the Vatican been known, there's no doubt in my mind that Jack Kennedy would never have been elected president of the United States.
The author sees the Kennedy legacy revived in Arnold Schwarzenegger's successful run for California governor.
I think Schwarzenegger's story, his just very presence, does exude that fundamental message of the Kennedy legacy. That government can be a source of good and opportunity for immigrants in this country.
And Maria fills the First Lady bill perfectly.
I think she'll bring the same type of glamour and a certain type of Kennedy pizzazz.
Now, Hollywood's baby boom, from Kate to Reese to Heather and Denise. We catch up with the stars who are pregnant and the ones who say they want to be. It seems Hollywood has babies on the brain. With pregnancy being almost chic these days, more and more stars are turning their thoughts towards family. How you feeling, by the way?
Great. I feel great.
Kate Hudson and rocker Chris Robinson chose to make the addition early in their marriage.
I have people who hold me like this, and I'm going, I can walk.
She's only 24. She's at the top of her game. And it's the moment in time in which most actresses her age would say, I can't have a baby till I'm in my 30s.
Every day it gets better and better, and it's amazing. I'm having a great time.
Another young couple to go the family way, Reese Witherspoon and Ryan Phillippe, are expecting their second child.
Every pregnancy is different, and I loved sweet things last time, and now I like more savory things, and try to calculate if that means something different.
These are very young people who are more into children than they're into any kind of Hollywood life.
Russell Crowe surprised many when he announced to Ray Martin on Australian talk show A Current Affair that after only 3.5 months of marriage, he and wife Danielle Spencer were expecting.
I'm ecstatic. I'm really pleased, you know. I just said to myself, if I don't take this time now, I'll never be a newlywed again. You know, I'll never have that opportunity to simply be around for Danny and stuff like that, you know.
Kate Blanchett will welcome a second child in the spring, and just 15 months into their marriage, Charlie Sheen and Denise Richards said they too were having a little one.
This is a guy who clearly loved being a dad, has all the resources in the world. He's a billionaire. Why not?
For Paul McCartney, baby makes 5, but it will be Heather Mills first. Fellow first-timers Angie Harmon and Jason Sehorn told us in April they were ready for parenthood.
Apparently God feels like we need to be parents now, so all right.
And there are even more stars who are hoping to join the boom.
You got to think about having a baby. I'm not getting any younger, you know, so I'm not pregnant right now, but I do plan on getting pregnant soon.
Nicole Kidman, who is already the adoptive mother of 2, says she's ready for love in the baby carriage.
I'd love to have another baby, and I would love to, yeah.
Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt have been married since July of 2000, which has many wondering when they'll make the announcement.
I think I'll handle it well, I hope.
Right.
You know, but it's not like TV pregnancy where you can take it off at the end of the day.
I actually can get pregnant pretty easily, but we just have had a problem. I can't seem to, we just had some bad luck.
Fellow Friends star Courtney Cox Arquette has been open about her struggles to conceive with husband David Arquette. On 2020, the couple talked to Barbara Walters about their efforts.
We went through pretty many miscarriages, so we've done in vitro just to get past that.
Courtney tells Barbara she's also started hormone therapy, and David is beside her every step of the way.
I feel confident and feel good that we will have a little David and Courtney combination.
Coming up next, Kobe in court.
And the audience audibly gasped. The dramatic case against him, the graphic testimony, and what about Vanessa?
If he's convicted, she will leave. Done. See you later.
Then sex in sports, from Magic to Michael.
You have women who are willing to, give you whatever you want.
And our rare private moments with Siegfried and Roy.
You're the very first one to witness history.
As Entertainment Tonight uncovers Hollywood's headlines and scandals. Closed captioning and other promotional consideration provided by... Welcome back to Entertainment Tonight as we uncover Hollywood's headlines and scandals.
Now, the latest developments in the biggest scandal of the summer. Basketball superstar Kobe Bryant was back on the court and back in court this week. The proceedings began on Thursday with the graphic and explosive testimony of Eagle County Sheriff's Detective Doug Winters. His description of the alleged rape of Kobe's accuser left many observers stunned. Noticeably absent, Kobe's family, particularly wife Vanessa. ET's special correspondent Marcia Clark spoke with our Jan Carl.
The public wants to see Vanessa standing by him, which is an indication of her support and her belief in his innocence of these charges.
Why do you think Kobe's wife was not there?
That's really hard to say, Jan. It could be that she didn't want to be there because they're having problems in their marriage and she just doesn't want to be around. It could be that she just couldn't make it for this particular hearing. The big fear, of course, though, is that what people will do on the outside is speculate that she wasn't there because she doesn't believe him and she's not in support of him. And that's a big danger for the defense.
Another fear, testimony from the bellman, who was reportedly the first person to talk to the 19-year-old hotel employee after the alleged sexual assault.
How damaging could that be to Kobe's defense?
The defense is going to have a very hard time showing the jury why he would make this up or lie to help the victim in this case. So I think that this bellman's credibility is key, and if it stands up under scrutiny, it may be the end of Kobe's defense.
Kobe has rejoined his team, but will return to Colorado Wednesday for the continuation of the preliminary hearing. And his lead attorney, Pamela Mackey, is already in hot water with the judge.
That question about whether the injuries could have been consistent with someone having sex with 3 men in 3 days was just completely inappropriate.
Mackey was also reprimanded for saying the alleged victim's full name 6 times during her cross-examination of Detective Doug Winters.
The audience audibly gasped every time she did it. I think it was really horrible, and I think that she better learn to pull it back, or this jury's going to be very turned off very fast.
Earlier in the week, Kobe spoke to reporters at the Laker preseason training camp.
My wife and I and our families, we're living through this. Every day we live through this.
Author of the book, Ain't No Tomorrow, journalist Elizabeth Kay is profiling Kobe for Men's Journal on Stands Tuesday. What emerges is a portrait of a shy teen who is very reserved with his girlfriend. His wife, Vanessa, brought him out of his shell.
She made him a more sensual person, a more sexual person, and all of that has kind of turned on her in a horrible way.
Now, the footage we saw of Kobe as he left the courthouse, does that give us any signs into what you think he might be thinking?
I think that perhaps Kobe Bryant had the same feeling about the prosecution case that I did. It was pretty compelling. His life is not going to be the same.
No matter what the final outcome of Kobe's case, his admission that he had an affair puts him on a long list of celebrity cheaters. And our Maria Menounos has the latest on the stars who strayed. Maria?
Jen, when a celebrity is caught cheating, it's sure to make headlines. But despite the scandal, Kobe's wife Vanessa appears to be standing by her man, at least for now.
I think with Kobe Bryant and his wife Vanessa, if he's convicted, she will leave. Done. See you later. I think if Kobe Bryant proves that he did not rape this woman, then he'll keep the money, he'll keep the endorsements, he'll get to stay on the Lakers, and his wife will stay with him.
For the time being, Vanessa is sticking by her man, but when a spouse is caught cheating, usually the couple splits up. And if they're celebrities, it's big news, like the royal split between Charles and Di, both of whom were reportedly cheating on the other.
When Diana came forth and particularly did a TV interview and was despondent and started supposedly having affairs because her husband was so distant and clearly very involved with this other woman, the media went insane. Treated them as if they were, J-Lo and Ben at the time.
Mick Jagger had a child with Brazilian model Luciana Mourad and broke up his nearly 9-year marriage to Jerry Hall.
Jerry obviously realized that Mick had fathered a lot of kids, had attempted marriage with Bianca Jagger, couldn't make it work, couldn't stay monogamous. I wonder if she ever even believed. She's a smart Southern girl who's been around the block. I don't believe she ever thought Mick Jagger would truly be monogamous.
Woody Allen and Mia Farrow had a very vicious public battle when he took up with her adopted daughter, even though they weren't married.
For him to have an affair with her adopted child, who was very young, who wasn't her flesh and blood child, but still her adopted child, making her, in a sense, his stepdaughter, someone he was meant to be a guardian of and is much older than.
I really don't know any couple that hasn't gone through a very, very difficult test of their love.
Kathy Lee Gifford chose to stay with husband Frank after he'd been caught on tape cheating with a flight attendant.
If I had run when Frank had, his temporary insanity, then our children wouldn't have their father in their life. And a very dear friend said to me when I was going through the hardest time about it, he said, if you can't forgive your husband, forgive your children's father.
Bill Clinton's famed alliance with Monica Lewinsky didn't break up his marriage to Hillary, leading to rumors that their union is a power move.
Bill Clinton never would have gotten that far if he didn't have Hillary by his side, and Hillary would not be senator if it wasn't for Bill.
And though John F. Kennedy's wandering ways were well known, his first lady stuck by him.
Look at Jackie Kennedy standing by JFK. First of all, he's stunningly gorgeous. He was really charismatic, and she was madly in love with him. He also happened to be the President of the United States, and one just to simply not divorce the President of the United States.
Infidelity in the sports world seems commonplace. Brenda Thomas spent 5 years as personal assistant to NBA star Stephon Marbury. She turned her observations into a novel, Threesome, where seduction, power, and basketball collide.
You have women who are willing to, give you whatever you want right there in a bathroom. It's hard. It's hard for a young guy to resist that.
Basketball legend Magic Johnson shocked the world in 1991 when he announced he was HIV positive. A married man, Johnson acknowledged he'd slept with hundreds of women. And Michael Jordan admitted to paying a woman $250,000 to keep quiet about their romance.
Juanita stayed with him, and a lot of it had to do with money. They came out and they said, well, basically, in a divorce settlement, Juanita's going to get $250 to $300 million. That's a lot of cash to part with.
Even if they would divorce and get, money, they would still lose the status of being Miss So-and-so, and that's a lot to lose for them.
Coming up next, Siegfried and Roy's lost interview.
The only thing what we had at the childhood was fantasy.
Roy's troubled childhood and how he ran away from home to escape an abusive stepfather.
The war made him what he was. He had the injuries, and that's why he became an alcoholic.
And what happened when our own Mary Hart got into the act.
Don't you even want to know how I feel?
Well, how you feel?
I feel beside myself.
Then, what happens when animal acts go wrong? The angry elephant, the alligator surprise, and why you shouldn't get too close to a polar bear.
As Entertainment Tonight uncovers Hollywood's headlines and scandals. Welcome back to Entertainment Tonight as we uncover Hollywood's headlines and scandals.
Roy Horn was just 13 years old when he ran away from home and sought refuge among wild animals. His first pet was a half dog, half wolf named Hexie. His first co-star was a cheetah named Chico. Roy made it his life's work to make people happy. His own childhood was anything but. He has a lifestyle filled with palatial homes, exotic cars, and all the comforts money can buy. But things weren't always so rosy for Roy. He grew up in post-war Germany, the son of an alcoholic father who often threatened to kill him.
I found in the kitchen cabinet, I found this big axe where he wanted to take us, and he stood at night in front of my bedroom with the axe because he loved us that much that he wanted us to be part of him all the time.
Roy ran away from home at 13, finding solace with animals. He teamed up with fellow German young Siegfried Fischbacher, who was then a fledgling magician. Together, they began a career that has spanned 5 decades.
The only thing what we had at the childhood was fantasies. That's right. And the fantasy became our life, and the life became our fantasy.
That fantasy took off in earnest when the two arrived in Las Vegas in the late 60s and began to make a name for themselves.
In Las Vegas, when we drove down the strip and said, the time will come, we're going to have our name up this market too, and we got it all.
E.T. has followed the duo's career for years. We were there in 1986 as they showed off a litter of white tiger cubs that had literally just been born.
She just finished 2 hours ago, and you're the very first one to witness history. She laid them all in my lap. I had to hold her head, and she was very comfortable. She breathed regularly, no complication whatsoever.
In 1987, Mary Hart even became part of the pair's act during a celebration of Las Vegas's 75th birthday.
Welcome to the Siegfried, Mary, and Roy show.
Don't you even want to know how I feel?
Well, how do you feel?
I feel beside myself.
That same year, Siegfried and Roy came to Hollywood as part of their Goodwill tour and met with the future governor of California and his wife, Maria. Roy talked about the kind of sacrifice they had made to get to the top.
It's a dedication. It's a 24-hour situation. You have to live, eat, and breathe it. You must want it so bad that you don't care if your private life is no private life anymore. Because if you want to be something of a magnitude, you have to give the best. And in order to give the best, you will become the best. But you must follow your dream. You must have the dedication.
In 1988, we went along with the pair as they fulfilled another of their lifelong dreams, become citizens of the United States.
It's ecstatic. It's a dream come true. America always have been for Siegfried and me the land of opportunities. And all our dreams as such in our walk and our profession as entertainers have come true in this great country.
Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony. They are Yankee Doodle boys.
They were given a hero's reception by friends and fans, and a few weeks later put their newfound citizenship to good use by voting for the first time.
Wow. Congratulations. Now, you're feeling awful patriotic, you know. I can't tell you how I voted because I don't want to influence anybody.
Vote for me.
As their fame grew, Siegfried and Roy decided to take their show on the road. E.T. accompanied them as they embarked on a 9-month-long tour that began in Japan. They took a dip for the cameras with some of their white tigers, and Roy even got dunked by one.
All right. Look up! Look up! Look up! Okay.
By the early 90s, Siegfried and Roy were tackling new challenges. E.T. was there as they worked out the details of a new illusion for a TV special.
Tonight, we're going to show you something very special.
You're going to see Siegfried and Roy. You never have seen him before.
Hi, handsome.
The pair revealed their Secrets of a Disappearing act performed by Roy and his lion, Mombasa.
I need you to turn around, Mombasa. Good. Okay.
It's my boy. It's
And we
right.
wave to the audience and we say,
Okay.
Roy demonstrated the key to Mombasa's head was through his stomach.
There's 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps. Up.
Although Mombasa appeared very tame, Roy reminded us he was still a wild animal.
With all of these cats, I am the endangered species, so you have to watch out for me.
In 1997, the duo turned their attention to the big screen, co-starring with Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo in Vegas Vacation.
Hey, I know this one. Yeah.
Trust me.
All right, I'll trust you.
In a live show, you have to get it by the first time. In pictures, you have the license of repeating it.
Come right in here. All right.
Later, Chevy and old friend Wayne Newton dropped in to meet the pair's latest additions.
This one is vision, this one is passion, this one is quest, and this one is destiny.
Their act really got the big screen treatment with the IMAX film Siegfried and Roy, The Magic Box. And another milestone, they were immortalized with a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame.
As we came to Vegas and as we came to America and as we went to Hollywood, we never thought one day we're going to have our star here in the Hollywood of Fame.
Over the years, the pair have invited E.T. inside the gates of their Las Vegas compound called Jungle Palace. Siegfried's wing is just off the dining room. Roy occupies the rooms upstairs. They live with over 50 tigers, who Roy proudly admits sometimes share his bed.
Animals always have been my best friends. It's difficult to speak with me about my bondage with the animals. I guess it's a gift who has been given to me, and I just try to use it as best as I can. See, you never can do this with someone who is not happy and content.
And though the future is uncertain, Roy's devotion to his feline family has been a constant.
You let them know wherever you are, they are safe. Because that's the most important feeling you can give anyone, animals or a human being. That you care for them, that you love them, they're your family, and you respect them.
Coming up next, more animal attacks.
A circus elephant out of control, a bear's violent outburst, and what made this alligator do this?
Once I started bleeding, all he thought about was food.
As Entertainment Tonight uncovers Hollywood's headlines and scandals.
The Entertainment Tonight weekend birthdays are brought to you by Tide. Which X-Men star once hosted their own weekly fashion and lifestyle series? Is it Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Romaine Stamos, or Halle Berry? Your answer is coming up in the ET Weekend Birthdays.
Welcome back to Entertainment Tonight as we uncover Hollywood's headlines and scandals.
The 550-pound white tiger that attacked Roy Horn was one of 60 animals that regularly performed with the legendary star. Well, entertainers who work with wild animals know that at any moment something can snap, sending the animal out of control. Whether it's tigers or bears or even circus elephants, there's always that element of danger. August 20th, 1994 seemed like a normal day at the circus in Honolulu until Tyke the elephant literally went wild, attacking both her trainer, Alan Campbell, in blue, and her groomer, Dallas Beckwith.
It's like going through a mincing machine.
Oh, why?
Beckwith told reporters that Tyke's attack was a surprise, that he never saw it coming.
When you're being beaten like I was, if you've seen it on television, I did not even have time to think of pain or nothing. I was trying to keep the pain blocked out of my mind so I could save my life by getting out of there as soon as I could. I was trying to play dead, but as you seen on the video, every time I did move and she seen me, she came back.
Campbell, the trainer, desperately tried to help, and from the hospital, Beckwith credited Campbell for getting him free.
Next thing I know, I was out in the arena with her attacking me. And my boss, which is Alan Campbell, he came and he tried to help by getting her off of me. He was trying his best to get the elephant off of me. He was ordering her and trying to use some force to get her off of me. I feel he saved my life.
It was the third reported circus rampage by Tyke in less than a year and a half. In North Dakota, she trampled another trainer, crushing 3 of his ribs. In Honolulu, Tyke broke out of the auditorium and rambled through city streets before authorities killed her in a hail of bullets. Back at the arena, her trainer was rushed to the hospital without success.
They told me that he did not make it.
Still, animal acts have become so popular and commonplace that it's easy for the public to forget that real danger can just be a moment away. This German trainer was bringing his line onto Berlin TV to participate in an entertainment awards show. It looked like business as usual, but wild animal expert Jack Hanna says there's no such thing.
You know, Gunther Gable-Williams, the world's greatest animal trainer, he used to say, Jack, he said, you can usually train a wild animal, you can never tame a wild animal.
That's just what the lion's trainer would quickly learn. The lion struck out at his trainer and pulled him to the ground. The worst possible outcome seemed imminent. The trainer escaped harm, needed some stitches, and visited his lion, which was behind bars. Even an animal behind zoo bars can be dangerous, as Catherine Warburton from Australia learned when she got a little too close to Binky the polar bear at the Anchorage Zoo.
Oh, my God. It was there, it was asleep, and it looked so innocent, and I just didn't even occur to me that it would be vicious because I've been told that it had been there since it's been a cub, so I thought it was quite tame, not realising that all bears have that wild instinct about them.
So she climbed over 2 barriers to take a picture from close up.
The bear was asleep, and I knew it was asleep, that's why I was going down. I wasn't going to go down there if I knew it was awake. And it sort of just came up from nowhere and just grabbed me side just here and just dragged me straight across the fence. So I thought I'd lost something because I just felt so numb. Yeah, looking back, it was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life, that's for sure.
Jack Hanna wouldn't disagree.
You must respect the animal's dignity. You must respect the animal's habitat. You respect the wild animal.
They say there's one important rule to follow when you're wrestling an alligator.
Don't get bit. Try not to get bit.
And you'd think that rule number 2 would be don't put your head in an alligator's mouth. But for Kenny Cypress, star attraction at the Miccosukee Indian Village in Miami, there was no rule number 2.
It was one day we were just messing around, and I kind of got my head close to his mouth in here, and then the next time I stuck my head in there, and then I got carried away with it, and every time I had a big crowd, I would stick my head in the gator's mouth.
He's gonna put his head in the jaw! And the jaws are open! And the head is in! Boom!
Touch a gator's tongue and those powerful jaws will slam shut. And as Kenny learned, even a single drop of sweat can lead to big problems.
I forgot to wipe the sweat off my forehead, and as soon as the sweat dropped, the gator just closed his mouth on my head. And it's a salty sweat, and they don't like that taste at all.
Get the what?
By instinct, I just grabbed inside his mouth real quick and started pulling. And when I did that, he just went, next thing you know, he's trying to take me back in the water. Once I started bleeding, all he thought about was food. He wasn't about to let anybody take his food away. I thought I was dead.
Still, after a visit to the hospital to see if everything was okay, lucky Kenny was back on the job. But he promised his son that Dad wouldn't be sticking his nose where it didn't belong.
He's seen the news, and he said, Dad, when I came back to pick him up, he said, Dad, I don't want you putting your head back in the gator's mouth. He said, you can stick your hand in there, that's it.
Siegfried and Roy have been performing in Las Vegas since 1970. They perform 6 times a week for 44 weeks a year and have been seen by an estimated 20 million people. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Monday on Entertainment Tonight.
Girls, here he comes. Girls, here he comes.
Why these gorgeous women are going undercover to catch husbands and boyfriends suspected of cheating.
What is he thinking? Gotcha.
Then Barbra Streisand sings, and what she tells Oprah about her kitchen phobia.
But I cannot make a cup of coffee. I cannot boil water. I don't know how to make an egg.
That's Monday.
The Entertainment Tonight weekend birthdays are brought to you by Time. Celebrating on Saturday, Jane Krakowski is 35. Luke Perry turns 37, and Joan Cusack is 41.
Blowing out candles on Sunday, Kirk Cameron is 33. Adam Rich turns 35. And which X-Men star once hosted their own weekly fashion and lifestyle series? That's Hugh Jackman, who turns 35 today.
For more details on the celebrities we profiled on this show and for all the Hollywood news, click on to ET Online, now powered by Yahoo Entertainment.
We leave you now with a preview of next weekend's Entertainment Tonight. Take care.
Bye-bye.
The defendant was charged with 1 count of sexual assault, a Class 3 felony.
They falsely accused of something.
Kobe Bryant is innocent of the charges that were filed against him today.
Another picture showed a bruise to her jaw. She did say no. She asked him not to. She was crying. She was in pain. He told her repeatedly, don't tell anyone, don't tell anyone. She agreed not to because she was afraid of him.
I'm innocent. Shoulder to shoulder, we're going to fight this all the way to the end.